You started this before you had a driver's license, right?
Yep.
And tell me about how you started. Was it 15 years old?
Yeah. So I got into drifting by kind of watching some videos online and playing some video games that were related to that. And when I was 15, like right after my birthday, I found a Nissan 240 SX for like 1,200 bucks. And I was like asking my parents, I'm like, hey, I have a permit. Like I couldn't drive by myself, right? But I
Yeah.
had a permit to drive. And I was like, I want to get a car. So that way when I have my driver's license, I have this sweet car. And like I had no idea like what I was getting myself into. And basically, I got this car and I started drifting a little bit here and there with friends that were old enough to sit in the passenger seat in case I did get pulled over or whatever the case was. And then I started driving some events and I had to have like my mom drive with me to the track so that I could drift all day and then come home because I didn't like have a license I could drive by myself. So it was interesting. It was cool. Like there were a lot of people that were very young back then that were getting into drifting and doing similar because it was like obviously spending $1,200 on a car and like a couple $100 an event is still a lot back then for a kid. But like if you just did a couple events a year, it was really enough because there weren't that many. You know, my local area would have like maybe 5 events all year. So
Hmm.
even if you went to all of them, like and you had like a job and did your chores and whatever, you could stack up a little bit of money enough to go do it. And you go dumpster dive for some tires at the local tire shop and mount them with your mechanical arms and do all that to make it happen. Um, but yeah, the beginning of the drift scene was definitely definitely early in it all. It was much simpler. Like if you could go and do a figure eight, you were basically a pro back then.
Right. Right. Amazing. And you were also doing stunt driving at an early age like that?
Yeah, after I got into drifting and realized that I could drive, there actually was a market for like young kids that could drive, right? So I
Ah,
started doing some movie stuff and commercial stuff that
really?
was, yeah,
Like
like
what?
I did a couple different things. I did a commercial for Hot Wheels back in the day, and like because I was at an age where like a 16-year-old could still have Hot Wheels and be playing with them, but also drive, and they were trying to reach a market like that and some other smaller things, just little clips and handbrakes in smaller movies. And basically, whenever I could, I was always trying to go online and find on Craigslist and stuff and find little jobs driving.
Isn't that just the best thing? You're not even 20 years old and like, you're hanging out with your buddies and they go, "Well, what'd you do this weekend?" "Well, I went and drove a car off a cliff or something." I mean,
Yeah, yeah. Most of my stuff was like precision driving back then.
okay.
I wasn't the guy jumping Crown Vics out of hotel buildings or anything like
Right.
that. Um, but yeah, like just fun things in that nature were always a lot of fun, and did some road racing back then too, which I think kind of helped tie that all together.